Hey guys, Zero Code 43 here today with another car review for you. This is my 2021 Land Rover Defender 110 P300S. Here's the key, Land Rover on the back side, and on the front side you have your lock, unlock, flash your lights, tailgate opening, and your panic alarm buttons. First, we're going to do a walk around the car, talk about common competition, talk about what segment it fits into, then we'll check out the inside the back, under the hood, take a look underneath if we can, then we're going to take it out for a spin. There's a lot to cover, so stick around. So like I said, I called this the Land Rover Defender 110. The reason for that is because there are two different models of the Defender available right now. You have the 90, which is a two-door version with a shorter wheelbase. Then you have this 110, which is a longer wheelbase four-door variant. The real cool part about these is how you can option them either all one body color, or you can get the contrasting roof color, either in white or black, depending on the trim level you get. They all have the spare tire hanging off the back side. This particular one, so I listed the model number as the P300S. So S is essentially your base model trim. P300 stands for petrol or petroleum, so gasoline powered engine. And then 300 is your horsepower class. So this has a 2-liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with 296 horsepower. There's also a P400, which is a partial hybrid electric vehicle, and it's a straight six-cylinder version of this same engine, but it's a 3-liter. It's turbocharged and supercharged, and it makes 395 horsepower. And it's pretty quick. This 4-cylinder is about 7.7 seconds to 60. The 6-cylinder is like 5.8 seconds to 60. It's pretty darn quick, especially since, well, this one's curb weight is like 4,950 pounds. The 6-cylinder hybrid version is closer to 5,200 pounds, especially with larger wheels, etc., all the extra equipment. Now, these are all-wheel drive / four-wheel drive vehicles. They're full-time four-wheel drive. You have various driving modes and whatnot you can go through. But all that stuff I can show you more on the inside. This car actually won World Best Design for 2021. I forget exactly which source that came from, but I will make sure to note that on here. And honestly, it's striking. It's a very unique looking vehicle, and we love it. We picked this up a couple of months ago as a lease to drive around for a while. It's freaking cool. Nothing looks like it on the road. It gets some attention. It's great. And this is exactly as factory as it came. You know, there's no add-ons, no modifications that we've done. These off-road tires are like a $350 option on this trim. You can get an all-season tire for it as well. And actually, these are 18-inch full steel wheels painted bright white. They look fantastic, especially when they're cleaned up like this. Granted, still some dirt and grime on the tires, but can't get it perfect. I live on a dirt road. It is what it is, but this thing cleans up real nice. Still has a good coat of wax on it, so it beats water off. Gosh, I just love the extra wheel on the back. We've got the cool script Defender on the back as well. This one actually has a tow package on it. It's an option. Not all of them have it. It's a totally different bumper structure behind the bumper covers. And then going up from the S, you have the SE, you have the X Dynamic SE, you have just the Defender X, which is like your top level trim. And actually new for 2022, they have a V8 model, the Defender V8, which will offer a 510 horsepower supercharged twin cam V8 from Jaguar and Land Rover both, which it's insane. And they're rated to be so fast in theory, should be somewhere around like 4.3 seconds to 60, something ridiculous like that. That they don't even give you roof bars on those. This one has roof bars, you can see. Actually, this one also has a panoramic sunroof, but you can't get roof bars on the V8. There's also these, they call them the Alpine View windows. They're like a skylight to the inside. I'll make sure to show you that when we get inside. But this one has the panoramic sunroof. You can also option in a full back soft top. So in the same space that you see the sunroof up here would just be a fabric roof that slides all the way back. It opens further than the sunroof does as well. But obviously it's not something you can see through like this. There is a lot of light inside when you have the sunshade open. So here, I'll unlock it quick so we can start checking out the other parts. Full LED lighting all the way around. And actually, from under the mirrors, it displays this really cool graphic that says Defender on the ground. The lighting is great. Very cool accent lighting. When you hit the brakes, actually, all of this, the insides of these light up. These are your reverse lights here. They're also LED. And these actually are your rear fog lights, if you choose to have them on. And actually, also interesting on this vehicle is the exhaust system, because it's this compact muffler at the back, and it's designed as such to not take away from the departure angle on this truck. So I was mentioning before, I want to talk about competition to these. Well, the current competition here in the US, closest to it anyway, would be the Jeep Wrangler, the 4 doors. Unlimited, that would be it for this particular truck. Obviously the 2 doors are a lot like a standard Wrangler. For capability anyways, but I'll tell you what, a Wrangler does not ride as nice or as quietly or drive as nice down the road as this does. No comparison. This is full air suspension on this truck. You're actually seeing it in what they call access height, or basically the low mode. When I get a chance to get inside, I will raise it up so you can see what standard driving height and then full off-road height are like as well. It varies about 4.5 inches from the bottom to the top, and in total you can have over 11.5 inches of ground clearance underneath. It's ridiculous. It looks a little crazy when it's wound all the way up to full height as well. These tires, I believe, if I remember, are 255/70/18 tires. 32.8 inches overall diameter, so very close to calling it a 33. And actually, the other competition for this car comes on the same size tires, at least in its lower trims. The brand new full-size Ford Bronco will be comparable to this as well. But again, same thing. That's kind of built more like a Wrangler, but however, it rides equally as nice as this does down the road. It handles equally as nice as this does. I've driven one. I haven't had a chance to get a video on one yet, but sometime it will happen. Maybe we'll even own one in the future. Who knows? But, still designed for a different crowd and a different price point. The base model 2-door, 4-cylinder Defender starts around, I think, somewhere around $47,000. This one, as you see, is in the neighborhood of about $65,000. It has some options on it, but it's still a base model just with options. Totally topped out X trim with all the trimmings, all the color packages and features you can get on it. They run a little north of $90,000 with the hybrid engine. But the V8s, which start with all the options fitted, pretty sure they started $103,000 here in the US, that's insane. Other cool things to talk about on the outside are the like diamond plate plastic inserts here on the hood. You can't step on these, obviously, they're not meant for that, but it's a cool like testament throwback to the original Defender of the 90s. Granted, the original Defender was made until about 2016 in the rest of the world. They haven't been legal here in the US since 1997, I believe is the right number. Full LED headlights. These are the base model headlights. You get a slightly different one in the higher models that has like a X pattern to it, and then this ring actually lights up as a daytime running light. I'll make sure to share a picture of that here. Fog lights in the lower grills down here, here, and here. Actually, if you were paying attention there's a camera in the front, like a trail camera. There are ones under the mirrors. It has a full 360 camera system. And then the one in the back, it is not mounted in the tire like it is in the Jeeps and the Broncos. It's actually down here like a normal car, right by the license plate, and it has its own dedicated washer. I just love how this thing looks. It's so unique and so true to the original concept vehicle as well. Nothing looks like it on the road. It's really, really the case. So let's take a look under the hood. Actually, I can show you the keyless entry while we're at it. Press this button when it chooses to work. There it goes. Hood releases down here. You'll see this bump off the door, which is actually to prevent you from being able to open the hood while driving with the door closed. So here we go under the hood. Also noting even the base models have a headlight washer, so you can see right there. So right up under the center, it's a nice little pull tab and hood struts. The battery is located, I believe, under the passenger seat in these, because there's just not enough room when you have the hybrid system in here with the 6-cylinder. So you have your battery takeoff points right there. You can see the airlines and sensors to the suspension right there. And this is the Ingenium 4-cylinder turbo. Like I said, no supercharger, no hybrid system in this one, just a simple 4-cylinder turbo. Runs on premium only fuel, 296 horsepower. I forget the torque number exactly, but I imagine it's somewhere 275, 280. I'll make sure to note that in here. Fuel economy rating is in the realm of 17 and 20, city and highway respectively. We've been averaging about 17, 18, so exactly what you'd expect, but that's running 75 to 80 on the highway. If you go slower, it will obviously do better. Everything's pretty easy to access in here, especially with the 4-banger. There's lots of space. You actually have a proper oil dipstick to check your oil on your own. Thank God. Other than that, nothing really special to show under here. Everything sounds so freaking solid on this thing. It's built solid too. If I remember correctly, these are either built in Britain, which I think they are because the VIN numbers start with an S. And actually here by the VIN tag, you can see it notes S, which is your trim level, and then the P300 engine. They're either building them in Britain or they're building them in Slovakia. I can't remember. I have to look it up and add that here as well. It's such a great looking vehicle. And actually I learned that this intake you see here on the other side is a dummy, but on this side is actually the fresh air intake for the air intake system to the engine. Smart. And you can actually option a snorkel on these that extends that up to here on the driver's door, right above the driver's door frame. Actually makes really good induction sounds when you do, especially on the 6-cylinder engine. So we've looked under the hood. Let's check out the tailgate area, which, first thing to note, oh, hey, the door handle's over here. Well, that's because the door opens to the side. Now, it only opens 90 degrees. It doesn't open further. I know the Ford Bronco, you can open to like 145 degrees, which is pretty cool. You have Defender written in here as well, and I know some people have bought some accessories to put onto the door. You have an emergency triangle in here. The defrost lines are very interesting. They also help keep the wiper warm, which is over here underneath. Factory tint even on the base model for the rear windows, which is nice. And then you have a fabric cargo cover, which does its job to keep everything covered back here. But you can just pop it out of the sides. Simple as that. And it just pops off the sides here, which I'm going to do because I'm going to demonstrate something else in here. Normally we have a car seat in here, so that's why there's a mirror on that seat. Just roll this up and off to the side. Because, if you can believe it, all of these Defenders come with a third row seat back here. And if you pull up on this strap, there it is. And now, granted, with the seat where it is, the second row seat, nobody can sit back here. Nobody with legs. But the second row seat does actually slide, excuse me, and recline, so you can use this space. No adult should sit back here, but it can be done in a pinch. I told you I'd show you the skylights, the Alpine lights, as I said. So you can see those. They offer some pretty interesting light during different parts of the day. It's cool. And then to lower these back down, it's just the same thing. Just pull out on the strap, headrest goes down, and shove. Two-door trucks obviously only have 2 rows of seats. They're much shorter. This box here houses the air compressor for the suspension system. If you notice also, third row passengers get cup holders of their own and each get their own USB charging points. I'm sorry, they're not USB, they're just your typical cigarette lighters or power points. They get their own climate vents, which they can control with a fan control right over here. That can also be locked from the infotainment system. You can lock the second and third row controls from being messed with. And the third row seats are actually heated in this truck. This one has the cold weather package, which gets you a heated steering wheel, heated seats all the way through. It's kind of awesome, but kind of ridiculous. LED lighting in the back. You have these nice little spaces for grocery bags. You have extra hooks up here as well. And then, these buttons are not for the seats. Now, if you're watching, I'm going to hold the camera in this position. Camera's not moving. I am raising the suspension in the back. You don't hear the compressor run at all, you just hear the airbags fill. Now the front's going up, so the back's already gone up, now the front went up, and that's max height, well, from back here that you can control. But that is a hop up. It is crazy how high that goes. Just close this for now. Actually, the back door is the only door fitted with this, but it's still handy because this is hefty with this tire on here. If you just shut it gently, it has a soft close feature. Handy. The more upscale models of these two also get exterior tow hooks in these positions on the back where there are blanks on this one. You also see there's parking sensors front and rear, And when those start to beep because you're getting close to something, it actually kicks on the cameras and lets you know how close you are to the object. That is a big wheel gap. I think that's as high as the rear goes. I'll have to see if the front will raise up a little bit more when I have the truck on. Now, I think we're ready to check out the inside, so we're going to start with the back seat. Gas door just for reference. Nothing special in here. You can see that, well, in Europe they get a diesel variant of these as well, a couple diesel variants, 4 and 6 cylinder, that we don't get here. This is where your diesel exhaust fluid would go in. So, back seat, second row, good place to sit, very comfy actually, especially with the seat backs reclined. And then you actually have a USB power point right here in the back of the front seat. You have, this one has a hook fitted that you can just remove or slip right back in, just as easy. This one actually comes with like a hanger for a suit jacket as well, but that's, I have that at home. I don't have that out here right now. Now, the seats in this particular model are a mix of cloth and leather. They're not full leather like you can get in the top trim, and they're not full cloth. So the center section you can see here is leather. The edges are also all leather, and then you have cloth in between. Real tough textile mixture of fabrics here. They're built for some stuff. I mean, they've held up real well to our kiddos so far. You have a center armrest with cup holders in it, as typical. And then obviously you have latch systems for your kids' seats. And then you have your climate controls through the center here. Fully automatic 3-zone climate control, dual in the front, single in the back, and then the third row, I believe, drives off of whatever the second row is set to. So you have dials for your fan speed and your temperatures here. You also can do your heated seats from these buttons. I'll show you when they're on. I'll show you in the front seat. And then you have power points, and then USB-C and standard USB back here as well. You have good seat back pockets that are well sprung and have a lot of space in them. The doors are also pretty cool. The back doors are absolutely massive, and they have just a squared off shape to them. The windows do roll all the way down, but I like how you can see the exposed paint color of the outside. I like the exposed screws. All of this plastic feels of very nice quality. This is actually like marine grade vinyl on the tops of the doors. Feels very tough, wipes off very easily. They have it on the armrest here too. And interesting though that some of these trucks they choose to option, you can actually option various colors for the door trimmings here, as well as in the front on the steering wheel and on the dashboard. I'll show you. Typical door speakers, door pockets. Just such a good looking design. Everything works together so well. So now I'm going to the front. I meant to note that I didn't on the back. The back doors have this as well as the front doors. This little symbol here will turn white when you open the door if you're clear, but if there's either a car approaching that one of the sensors at the back detects, or like a bicyclist or someone walking, it will turn orange and blink at you. I don't remember if it beeps or not, but it warns you basically, be careful when opening the door, someone's coming and they're close enough to the car. They could be, clipped by the door. This one has the 11 speaker Meridian sound system. There's actually a 14 speaker one as well. Both of them have subwoofers. This one sounds great. I don't know why you'd ever need to upgrade to the other one, but it kind of comes with the higher packages anyway. Front door designed very similarly to the rear door. Nothing special to note here. This vinyl stuff is great. It has nice foam padding behind it. I mentioned the coloring on the back doors. The front doors have it here, and then excuse me, it blends in with these grab handles in the sides of the dashboard because, well, the passenger and the driver both get their own grab handles to get in if they so chose. But you can grab onto the side of the dash, or in the top is all a big stiff handle. And then I've actually learned that this bar would also change color along with, the other white trimmings you see through the steering wheel and whatnot. And this is a structural member of the truck. It's the crossbeam between this side and that side of the bulkhead. You have this nice storage shelf in here. You do have a USB power point in here. You have a speaker up on the center of the dash. You have a big glove box down below. Nothing feels cheap. It's so nice. You got more exposed screws in here as well. Different size cup holders. There's also like a little rubber flap that comes with that I moved elsewhere for now that can cover these up. And this is actually a wireless charging pad. Large center console, which in higher trims you can also get this as a refrigerator. This has a nice rubber seal around it to seal off. Yeah, and you can get a refrigerator that would probably fit 6 cans or a couple of bottles of whatever you want to put in there. Keep them cool all day long. Again, the seats are the 2 material textile cloth and leather up front. In the S model, they're fully manual, apart from seat back tilt and lumbar. Those are the only parts that are power. So let's carry on with the driver's seat here. We'll check out the stuff inside. Just hop up in here. The screen greets you with an image of the Defender on an interesting background, shows you your mileage and the date. You have Land Rover showing on the center screen. And actually from here you can adjust the suspension as well. Well, maybe. Might have to have it on for that. We're going to do that. Turn it on. So now I've turned on the ignition and show you some of the things. Close the door so it's not barking at us the whole time. So here we can show the full lifted height. We'll start it real quick. When you turn off the ignition, it closes the sunshade by default, so to keep more heat out of the vehicle. But as soon as you turn it back on, it returns the sunshade to the last position you had it on. Very cool. So a lot going on in here. We're raising the vehicle the rest of the way. And I'll show you the height after we get out. That should be full height now. Takes a little time, not a big deal. So, rotary knobs to select your temperature, and then to turn on your heated or cooled seats if you have them. This one has heated only. You push on this, and then it shows you a seat icon, and you rotate to turn on the heated seat. Push it again to go back. Then here, you press this one, and it turns on the right side knob to control your fan speed. You can choose this one to change your various modes, which shows up here on the upper screen. Press it again to go back. Other buttons down here include your hill descent speed control, your auto stop start, your front defrost, rear defrost, your directional modes for your HVAC, your recirculation, your auto and AC on-off buttons, and then you have, this is to engage your low speed transfer case for actual crawling or, deep mud situations. Traction control, this is your suspension raise and lower buttons. And then you notice I glossed over this button. That is a heated front windshield. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on camera, but I'm going to try and show you. If you see, right here, there's a difference in the tint of the window. Well, That is like a glazing over the window for the sake of tint, yes. But if you look real close, they're real hard to see. Now, yeah, they may not show up on the camera, but if they do, there are little defrost lines, yeah, you can kind of see them now, running top to bottom across the whole windshield. And the windshield is basically one giant heating element, like a heated seat. And you flip that on and it'll defrost the window in a matter of 30 seconds. It's amazing how quick it is. Very cool feature. You have a borderless mirror, self-dimming, you have your home link for your garage door openers. Up top you have your sunroof controls, you have your sunshade controls, your service button, your emergency button, nice little accent light up here. And actually, your interior lights are all controlled by touch. So this turns on the master lights around the whole vehicle inside, front and back. These are your individual map lights, and they're just touch, and I love that. These, I imagine, either here or here are your microphones for Bluetooth. You have sunglass holder up top. Not common in sunroof cars. And then actually, I don't know if you caught a glimpse of that already, there is a center sunshade, sun visor. So when you have all three of them down, it blocks so much more of the sun than if you don't have that center one. These are lit, obviously, and they are pull out and extendo, just like that. They do a good job. They don't extend as far as I would like, but I also sit really far back. And I was wrong. The Bluetooth microphones are not up here. They are directly above you, so the audio line of audio is actually quite good. Sunroof, it will pop, or you can open it all the way. Granted, that's as far as it opens, despite being a double panoramic sunroof. Like I say, the soft top would fold all the way back and give you a little more open space, but it's okay. It does a good job. There's a lot of airflow in here with it, and all the windows open. Windows are fully automatic all the way around, and they're nice and quick. The mirrors are big and blocky and square and do their job. They're also heated and self-dimming. These little orange lights stay on when you're just at low speed or at a stop. I'm thinking it's just so that letting you know that the blind spot system is active but not actually running. And then when you're moving along, when a vehicle's in your blind spot, you'll see the car symbol light up right here in the corner. You'll probably see that later on in the video. So other parts to cover in here are the shifter, which your park button, this is a button here for P, for park. So anytime you're in another gear, you press that, it will shift to park when you're not moving. If you push on the brake, there's a button on the back side in order to engage other gears. So you have down once for drive, like that, or down twice. There are 2 clicks. You can push it up once to get neutral, but if you push the button and go up again, you get full reverse, which kicks on your 360 cameras. And you can see here, so this is your full 360 view. It shows you, this is like the straight back out camera you're looking at here. However, if you push one of these, it'll show you a very wide view reverse camera. And there's also various cameras you can look at here too. Put this back in park. So you have your off-road cameras, which are very interesting because it shows you, this is under each mirror looking forward at the front wheel so you can see obstacles near your front tires. This is just your front facing camera in the grill I showed earlier. You can actually lock your center differential from here, and this will actually show you rough suspension travel, which is really interesting. Also, this is a fully independent suspension vehicle. It's not body on frame, it's unibody. No solid axles to be had. There's also a very good towing camera, which will help you line it up, and actually you can keep it on full time when you're driving to monitor your trailer. This truck actually comes with this set of dots, stickers that you put on your trailer, and you put in a couple of measurements on the trailer, and I'm thinking it's to help with like an automatic parking aid. I don't really know a lot about it. Might have to do more research there. So we'll go back to the home screen here. Home screen shows you where you're at, what media you're connected to, what phone you're connected to, what media you may be playing currently. It's a very quick and responsive screen. This is so you can edit your tabs, but it only shows 3 at a time. So now you have various things you can do. This is your music page, which will show what song is playing, what station you're playing, etc. And then you have your navigation page here as well. So you can type in here for searching where you're trying to go, punch in your home and work addresses here, various things you can search for along the way. The map is fantastic and it's big. You press this to lower it and you have a very large, high quality map. I'm pretty sure it's Android based. It feels Android based. And you have your various settings in your menu over here as well that you can mess with. There's a whole bunch you can do. These also have like the hill hold assist, or if you just depress the brakes hard after you've come to a stop, it will hold automatically, keep the brake lights on behind you. As soon as you touch the accelerator, it lets off the brakes and off you go, but you don't have to keep your foot down on the brake. Anyway, back to the home here. You saw the start stop button right here. Now we'll cover the steering wheel, which has the same white trimming. It says Defender very nicely across the middle here. You have your various cruise control settings here. This is your lane keep assist. That turns it on and off. You set it by pressing up or down. You press in on it to resume. Your cancel button, your heated steering wheel, on and off. And then this is a very interesting button because you can press this and you set a speed, effectively a speed that it will limit the vehicle to, no matter how hard you press the pedal. So say you press that and you use these set buttons to put it up to like 55, for example, and you can come from a stop, you can floor it, it will accelerate hard until it hits 55, and then it will limit it right there. It'll be like a soft speed limiter, whatever speed you set it at. Or you turn this back off and you get your normal cruise control back. Upper level models of these also had adaptive cruise. This one doesn't. I don't feel it's necessary myself. So just wanted to cover that. This is volume control for the radio. And then over here, you can set this as a favorites button to do a number of different things, whether it's a long press or a short press. This you can use to go through various settings on the cluster. This is to hang up or answer a phone call, skip your tracks or stations back and forth. Headlight controls are interesting because you turn this to where you want it to go and then it bounces back. So right now the headlights are off, parking lights only, full headlights, and full automatic. And then this is all your wiper controls, lift it up and down for your front wipers, turn it for your rear wiper, your washers, pull for your other washers. Then there's the cluster. The cluster there's a lot going on. So I mentioned the circle button right here, but you're looking at it right now. This is the information we usually use from a day-to-day basis. You got average fuel economy, distance traveled, distance to empty, average speed on that tank, your headlight information, your park brake indicator, etc. This is what height mode you're currently in. Right now we're in off-road mode. So that's showing with an arrow pointing up. There's an arrow pointing down for low mode. Displays the map on the right-hand side. And then you have your temperature and mileage and time at the bottom right corner, your current mile per gallon, your fuel level and outside temperature down in the bottom left. The button on the end of the stalk here will actually change that information displayed by the fuel level, whether you want the date or distance traveled, speed, average mile per gallon, current mile per gallon, and distance to empty it'll show. But using this button, you can access the menu in here. And you notice, actually, these change from these symbols to arrow keys to navigate around here. Let me zoom you in here. So this will show you active warnings and tire information, or we're not going to go through all of this. This will show you the current media source. You can change all this while you're driving. Trip information, the different gauge cluster layouts. We'll come to that in a second. We'll come to that right now. So you go down and you go to layout. You go into that. So this is the 1-dial layout. This is the 2-dial. So now you have tachometer on the right with gear info and temperature. You have your speedometer on the left, digital and analog, as well as this shows you street sign speedometer or speed limits. You can have it just display a full map, which is amazing. And then it'll show your speed at the top and the gear you're in and the speed limit. It's an amazing map, it really is. This one will just display the basics on the left and then your media stuff on the right. And this will show active driver assists, but we like the 1-dial layout ourselves. Just like that. Now, we've raised the vehicle up to full height, so I'm going to get out and show you how ridiculous it is. Also, you do have a manual pull for the parking brake down here, as well as adjustment for the brightness of your gauges. So, it is now a big drop down. This is ridiculous. It's so tall. Like I said, 11.5 inches of ground clearance underneath of it right at this point. This is fully raised, as high as it goes. So now we're going to show it dropping to normal height. And then it should drop one more to drop to access height. Yep, front lowers a bit more and so does the rear. That is a lot of travel. And that should be fully aired out. Just wanted to show that. Now at this point, we're gonna set up the cameras and we're gonna go for a drive. I almost forgot to include a little walk around with all the lights on. Fog lights, headlights, all of it. So here's that. Fog lights down below. Full LED headlights above. They're brilliant, they're very bright. And then the rear fog lights, I misspoke before. I said they were in the outer little squares, but they're actually the two lights you see in the bumper down below. Those are your rear fog lights. And they are bright. Just gotta be far enough back to see them. They're bright. All right, now we're gonna go for a drive in the Defender. Ha! Don't mind that. Just moved the suspension around so the transmission wasn't happy. Oh, we're already going back up to normal height, but I think we'll be just fine and clear. We were resting on a hill there, so. Gosh, these headlights are amazing. And these are just the base headlights. The up-level ones are even stronger, so I hear. Probably more offensive to other drivers as well. These ones kind of scatter the light a bit, and they're aimed a bit high, but they're self-leveling. As soon as you turn the car on, you can see them move around. I don't believe they actually steer with the car, but they're still cool. So comparing this to other vehicles I've driven recently, it rides a lot better than a Wrangler. The Bronco rides pretty similar to this considering it's a standard suspension. This is a full air suspension off-road vehicle, and it rides really nice, but it's a bit stiffer than like your average SUV. Maybe that's just because of the amount of weight it's carrying and how it rebounds and reacts to all of the weight. I'm not really sure. You think the tires would help make up for it too, but they're a stiffer sidewall off-road tire. They're a Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain. Actually, they're very quiet at speed. I'm very surprised. There's no real noise from the tires at all. And you'll hear when we go on the highway that there's not a lot of interior noise. It is now 2:45 in the morning. It's an early one. That's okay, though. Sometimes you got to push yourself to get the good videos done. I love doing the parking garage videos. Always got energy for one of those. Alright, coming down to the exit here. It is a 7-foot clearance in here, and I feel like we're close, even though I know we're not that close. Riding at normal height right now. There's no point in doing anything different. You can't run in low height over 20 miles an hour, or high height above 25, I think. This little 4-cylinder sounds pretty angry when you wind it up. I like it. But it's really quiet and composed. We've got almost 4,700 miles on this thing at this point. We've owned it 3 months as of yesterday, and not a complaint to be had. We had one little hiccup with the radio. This is the one I can turn left in. Yeah, okay. We had one little hiccup with the radio where it wouldn't do anything but a black screen for like a half an hour to an hour. But after that, it was fine. We never had another issue. And just had to do like a reset on the infotainment system. Things happen, you know, it's how it goes.
Didn't you lose one of the wheel?
One of the center caps on one of the wheels, you're right. Must have hit a nasty bump on our dirt road or something, or it was never put on very strongly from the factory. We're going to give it a hit here. This thing moves real good for its size. It actually handles pretty good too, considering it's 5,000 pounds. I can't believe that 4-cylinder moves this that well. I really can't. It's very surprising to me. But it moves great. It has good dynamics for its size and how tall it is. It's got big brakes on it. You get even bigger brakes on the upper level models. It will haul down real good if you get into those brakes. And I mean, visibility's all right out back with the headrests up on the back seats. It's the rear quarter windows are not very useful, but you've got blind spot monitoring, which kind of makes up for that. Works great. Never had an issue there. The fully digital screen for the cluster and for the center screen, they're fantastic resolution. They're great to use. They look fantastic. I mean, the execution is really, really on point. I drove a different Land Rover a couple of years ago, which had an older version of this infotainment system, and it was not so good. Did not have. It was very laggy. It was hard to use. This one's great. I really like it. My wife drives this thing every day, and you know, she gets looks from people. Her coworkers have commented on it, like, "Man, what even is it?" You know, it's fun. It's a different kind of adventure, and we do have plans to get it off road and do some stuff. We just need to do it. We got my buddy Mason here, who's picking up a interesting little off-road vehicle here soon, and definitely going to go once he gets that.
Oh yeah, definitely want to go off-road. I think this will do really well, though.
I think it will, just because it's got the chops, you know. But it is heavy. I'm worried about sinking it down to the frame.
I think it depends what we're doing. I think I don't know. Sand might not be the best for this.
Take the pressure out of the tires. It'll be all right.
Does it have a sand mode like Toyota does?
Let's find out. Press the mode button. Mud, ruts, sand. There you go.
Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah, because Toyota was the first ones to really do that with the the sand activation thing, where the car would shake itself naturally.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if this does that.
I mean, it seems like a very advanced vehicle.
You know, there are more things programmed into this than I can even begin to try and tell you. It's it's pretty jam packed. I love the downshift. 6,500 RPM shifts. This thing sounds so angry. Like I mentioned before, 0 to 60 in 7.7 with this little 4-cylinder. But man, that 6 is a lot faster. Almost 2 seconds faster to 60. People are reporting. It's ridiculous. Wow. And the V8 should be in the mid to low 4-second range, which is as fast as my Mercedes, if not faster. And that's a heavier, bulkier vehicle with not that much more horsepower, but it is all-wheel drive. But yeah, want to take this off-roading soon. Don't want to scratch the paint. It's a lease after all. But I want to get it really dirty. Not dirt road dirty like we get. Not muddy from puddles and crap. I want to get it dirty. Like, have to spend 2 hours power washing it afterwards dirty. I want to really see what it can do, because I know it can do a lot.
Like, the problem is if you take it into like a mud hole or something, getting it out if it gets stuck. This thing is heavy.
It's heavy. It's going to take quite the rig to get it out, but I plan to go in with tow straps ready to go, and I'm going to fully know where all of the tow points are before I go in. So I know what shovel to pack in order to get it out, to dig out a spot to tow from. Because I mentioned earlier that in the rear it would normally have exposed tow hooks on a higher level trim. This one does not have that.
Oh.
I think the front bumper is the same way. You can get off-road tow hooks. I could probably get them from Rover if I really wanted to, but not worth it on a car I'm not going to keep.
For an off-road vehicle, this is the most comfortable off-road vehicle I've ever been in.
Oh, hell yeah. A Wrangler or even a new Bronco does not compare. It's very supple. This rides like a luxury vehicle, and it's priced as such. This is not cheap.
Yeah, there is no real luxury off-road vehicle competitor to this other than Mercedes, right?
I would have thought maybe a Land Cruiser if you got it with off-road tires.
I guess, yeah.
They also quit making that here
True.
in 2019.
For the United States market, yeah.
Yes.
And G-Wagon's too luxury and less
Oh,
off-road.
jeez. You can't even get a G-Wagon for as cheap as the most expensive one of these is.
True, there's also that. I feel like there's not a lot of market against this.
No. And even a fully booked up Wrangler, a Rubicon, or what's the Rubicon Recon, whatever the new package is they got to compete against the Bronco. Yeah, I don't think it can touch this. I don't. Put this back in low mode for this low clearance. I know we're fine, it just makes me nervous. There, I got some bright light, might be able to see my face. Haha. Anyway, at that point, I'm going to close this video, so hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, suggest other things you want to see on the channel. I'm always trying to get my hands on new things, always trying to get my hands on interesting old things to drive. And if you also have a vehicle you want me to check out, you know, if you're local to me in Central or Eastern or even Western Michigan, I'd be willing to try out. I'd be glad to come check your car out. Otherwise, see you next time. Yeah. See you next time. That's the camera to look at.
I really, really, really want to see this thing off-road.
Yeah, me too. I needed to add one more talking point in here as well about general room inside the vehicle. I mean, this is a upper mid-size SUV, if we're being honest. It has 3 rows of seats, you know, like a Chevy Traverse or Ford Explorer, but it's big overall. I think it's 187 inches long, something like that. I have to double check that, make sure I note that here. But, you know, my legs may touch both sides here, barely, but I'm comfortable. I mean, there's a soft pad here where my knee rests on the right-hand side, here on the center console. The left side, it's touching the door handle, but it's certainly not bad. And granted, this is just the driving position I choose. You know, I could choose to be further back as well, but would overstress my arms. However, in the back, I'm amazed at the footroom back there. The leg room in general is monstrous. Even behind me, it would be plenty comfortable to just sit behind me. No issue whatsoever. And we normally have a rear-facing child seat in here between the front seats. Well, I should say in the middle on the back row. And it doesn't touch either of the front seats. There's plenty of space. It's great. This is a big vehicle and great for a family hauler. And man, does it have road presence. I mean, I'm sitting, it feels like way up here. It's great. We love this thing. We really do. We're going to note the low and high beams here real quick. This is low beams. This is low beams with fog lights. This is the high beams.
Now turn left.
Holy heck, do they do some stuff. We'll do a true 0 to 60 here in sport mode. Gets out of its own way and it brake torques really well, loads up the suspension.